All right, today we're diving into a really powerful story, a kind of allegory about an ancient fight between two massive forces. And trust me, this is way more than just a story about winter. It's really a deep look at power, at patience, and at what happens when something that was lost inevitably comes back. Let's get right into it. So, this story hits you with this line right out of the gate, and boom, it just changes everything, doesn't it? This isn't just about the temperature dropping. We're talking about a conscious being, something with a will, an intention, a silent, majestic force that is very much alive. So, okay, who or what is this entity? Well, the text defines it as a being of formless retribution. I mean, how cool is that? Basically, its kingdom, which was once, infinite, got taken over by two invaders, us, man, and our warmth. And right there, that's the whole setup. You've got this dethroned sovereign just biding its time, waiting for the perfect moment to take it all back. Okay, so to really wrap our heads around the Frost's incredible, almost unbelievable patience, we first have to understand just how badly it was beaten. We need to see how this all-powerful sovereign became an exile in the first place. This timeline really lays out the whole conquest. You can see it in 4 stages. First, Epoch 1. The Frost was the undisputed king, master of everything. Then we show up. Man arrives, just looking for a home. And what's one of the first things we do? We build walls, which the text calls a direct insult to the Frost's power. But the real knockout punch, the ultimate weapon, was the fire. That's what forced this complete and, honestly, humiliating retreat. And get this line just perfectly captures the scale of that defeat. Just imagine having a kingdom that is literally infinite and seeing it shrink down to just a few unsanctified inches. We're talking about that tiny bit of ice you see on a window pane. That's all it had left. To go from master of everything to a prisoner at your own doorstep, yeah, that's the kind of wound that would make you wait for centuries. So after that initial beatdown, the fight settles into this long, long Cold War. Literally. For centuries, the Frost just lays siege to the house, patiently watching and waiting for any tiny sign of weakness from the tyranny of warmth that's holed up inside. I absolutely love this comparison. On one side, you have the hearth, the fire. It's described as a proud, roaring Cerberus, the 3-headed dog guarding the underworld. It's loud, it's violent, it spits and sputters. Then you have the Frost, completely the opposite, silent, majestic. It doesn't roar, it paints crystal cobwebs. But every one of those delicate patterns is an invisible pledge of ruin. This is a classic battle, isn't it? Brute force versus strategic, ice-cold patience. And during this long siege, you better believe the Frost tried everything. It threw itself at the foundations with pure icy rage. It tried sneaking down the chimney. It even tried a kind of diplomacy, painting these beautiful little scenes on the glass, almost like an offering. But it was no good. As the text says, their hearts remained obdurate. The defenses held. But then, after all those centuries of waiting, a fracture finally appears. A tiny crack in the armor. And this is the turning point. This is the moment of opportunity. And it all starts so quietly, with this one simple, chilling observation. The keeper of the flame, the latest in this long line of defenders, is unnaturally still. The routine is broken. The guard has let his guard down. And for the first time in ages, the enemy is showing a sign of weakness. And because the master is still, the fire itself begins to die. That great roaring Cerberus that held the Frost back for so long, it's not roaring anymore. Now it's nothing more than a softly whimpering whelp. The great defense is collapsing, and the entire balance of power is shifting, fast. So this is the big question, isn't it? The one the Frost has been pondering for an eternity. The story says it's been waiting for just a single tremor of hesitation, a minute fracture in the defense. After all this time, is this finally it? Is this the moment? The answer is a definite yes. The wait is finally over. And now begins the slow, methodical reconquest of its long-lost kingdom. And just look at how this happens. It's not a frantic rush. It's a systematic takeover. Step 1, the floor gives way, covered in a diamond carapace. Step 2, the walls start gleaming with a thin coat of crystal and rime. See, it's not just entering the house, it's transforming it, remaking it in its own image. And then comes the final chilling step. It climbs the master's body in a soft, silent touch. The last custodian of the fire is gone. So the frost has won. What happens now? Well, the story moves into its final silent phase, an era of eternal, icy stillness. But here's what's so fascinating. In its moment of total victory, the frost does something really strange. It doesn't desecrate its enemy. It actually shows this kind of cold respect, this reverence. It encases the body in a shimmering diamond sepulchre, a tomb. It's like it's honoring its fallen foe, acknowledging the long and difficult struggle. And this is it. This is the final, absolute statement. The new world order. The victory isn't just a victory, it's total. The world has been reset to how it was in the very beginning. As the story says, there is no room for man, nor for warmth, only for the eternal cold. And that brings us to the end of our explainer, and it leaves us with this one kinda haunting question to think about. If the fire in the story represents our will, our civilization, our warmth, then what happens when we stop tending our own fires? What's waiting patiently just outside the door for us to slip up?